All right, just want to talk briefly about emotions, big emotions, and grace. So, as a human in Earth life, we get to have emotions and thoughts and experiences, and it's all part of the program. Um, if you've heard phrases like enlightenment or being the observer of life, or being a conscious creator, um, or holding eternal perspective or a spiritual perspective. These can all, in my experience, allude to the state of being where we hold the awareness that we are eternal beings in an earth life experience at the moment, but that our eternal timeline is the real reality. And being here in earth life in a physical form, in the physical realm, is for experience. And so, but it can also be very convincing. So emotions that we have while we're here in earth life are very convincing. They feel like it's the real reality. They feel like it's life and death. And thanks to a lot of that is in part due to the fact that we have a lizard brain. Sorry if the airplane is loud. A part of our brain is wired for survival, and it's similar to animals' brains. It's similar to what a lizard has in their brain. The aspects of that function that are for survival. And they really get caught up, our lizard brain really gets caught up in experiences and really feels like they're going to be life and death and like it's a big deal. Personally, I can't even die because I'm eternal. So if I die from this physical earth life, that's just a transition. So the lizard brain's feeling and fear of death is very just physical realm stuff. But it's very convincing and is wired to fight in every way it possibly can to survive. Anywho, so that's what we're kind of working with, is this lizard brain response to life situations that feel really intense. But if we can maintain an eternal perspective, a spiritual focus, the observer perspective, and be an observer of our experience, it is very different. It's super different and so much more fun and fulfilling and rewarding and surprising and amazing and fun. And I feel like that's where you can partner with God. That's where you can be in dialogue with God throughout the day when we're able to do that. A couple things about that come to mind is blending. So if you've ever experienced a trigger, which is when you have a big emotion happen that is disproportionate in size to the actual circumstance, because it's not about just the circumstance right in front of you, it's tied to past experiences and it's tied to other things. If you've ever had that, you know what I'm talking about. If you just lose your temper, and it's like, wow, it was just the last straw. Like this moment right here where, I don't know, you couldn't get the key in the lock because that was upside down and you had to turn it over and then it still didn't work and like you just lose it. It's like, wow, getting the key in the lock is not, warrant such a big outburst of emotion and dramatic experience internally. So whenever that happens, which is a silly example, there's better examples that you can think of, I'm sure. But whenever that happens, we can call it blended. We are blended in that moment with an aspect of our system that is carrying lots of other past experiences around still. And so all the cumulative emotion from all of the situations to do with whatever we're experiencing internally are all come present in that moment, and we have this really big response. And when we're blended, we're kind of trapped, like we're kind of stuck in that state with all those emotions coursing through our body, all the thoughts from all those past experiences that were similar to this experience coursing through our system, and we're in it. We're just really feeling like whatever emotions we're feeling, we're really believing them. But luckily, you can unblend at any moment. It's like getting saved rescued from this dramatic, intense, situation. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. But if you can get unblended or kind of snap out of it, instantly your perspective changes and what you feel and think changes about the situation, and it's phenomenal. A really cool technique for that, there's a lot of them. I'll just mention a couple. One of them is the response just like me. And this is about other people. If you see other people behaving in a way that is not delicious, maybe they're cutting people off in traffic or who knows what they're doing, instead of going into judgment and shame and blame of judging that person, we can say, oh, just like me, I've also had experiences in that emotion. We're all human. We all have like the same needs and the same emotions. So to whatever degree or whatever size or what exact situation, we've all done all the things. We've all been mad. We've all acted in revenge. We've all been ignored. We've all, whatever it is. So whatever particular behavior they're doing, maybe we have done that exact behavior, but maybe we just have had that same emotion. And we can say, oh yeah, just like me. I'm also human, and I've also been there, had experiences with that particular emotion. And what that does is it helps unblend us and help us step back a little bit into the observer perspective. And in that observer perspective is where we don't have to feel everything so intensely in our body by being convinced by it and by being blended with it. From the observer perspective, we can still gain knowledge and experience in life, but from an eternal perspective, or from holding the view and the awareness that we are not just a human on earth. It's more than that. And being a human on earth, we're gaining experiences, and we're having emotions and thoughts and feelings because that's part of being a human, but they are not the full eternal reality. Whenever we can do that, we'll experience a lot more peace, wisdom. We'll be able to access our own wisdom. We'll be able to access inspiration from the divine. We'll be able to access solutions. We'll feel a lot better in our body. We'll be able to feel the reality that that person driving over the double white line or yellow lines or whatever isn't going to kill me. Like, we'll be able to feel that in the moment. Like, I'm still fine. Like, I'm okay. Okay, so then there's a little talk about being in the observer perspective in our life, holding eternal or spiritual perspective, and also blending and unblending. There's other things that can help us unblend. There's lots of them, and they are so useful, so valuable, so that we don't live our life blended with our seat of consciousness, blended with emotions, kind of driving our car, driving us, and us not even being fully conscious of it. I'd rather be conscious, be a conscious person, conscious creator in my own life. Okay, but a second thing I want to mention about being blended and versus being the observer is forgiving ourselves. We all do it. We've all done it. We're all going to do it. We're all going to get blended with emotions and act in ways that our higher self would not have acted, and act in ways that later we'll learn, oh, that wasn't the most fruitful and beneficial way to act, and now I'm aware of it. And whenever that happens, we can forgive ourselves and offer ourselves grace, because it's going to happen, and it's a built-in part of being a human. We are going to get convinced by our emotions. We are going to get blended by any unresolved trauma we haven't cleared out yet. We are going to buy into thoughts and beliefs that are not fully true or beneficial. And then hopefully at some point we'll notice we did it and go, oh, I see that. Okay, I notice now that that isn't fully true, and I don't want to keep it around with me. So I'm going to choose to forgive myself. I already have grace I'm not surprised that happened. I'm a human. It's part of the program. I'm not going to condemn myself and carry this around forever. I'm going to forgive myself, learn from it, and grow and move on. And we can do the same thing for other people. Yes, they had an emotion. Yes, they had a behavior or acting, expressing in a certain way, which it does have an impact on the space around them. And yeah, it wasn't beneficial or fruitful as far as producing good fruits. And they're human, and it's part of the human experience that humans will get um, overwhelmed by the emotions and thoughts they're currently having, or the hunger they're currently having, or the fear or uncertainty they're currently experiencing. The lizard brain does not like any of those things, and they are going to have thoughts and feelings, and we can offer grace and forgive them and allow them to learn from it, release it, not need to carry it around with them for the rest of their life, and move forward with the wisdom they gained from that experience. And if we practice enough stepping into the observer role and getting curious, you can get better and better at it and get blended less and less often, which is so awesome. You can live more and more in the state and having the thoughts and feelings and experiences that are delicious to your soul. Ah, all right, so there we go. Cheers to talking awareness, consciousness, having eternal perspective, having a spiritual focus in life, getting unblended, observing and noticing when we have gotten blended, and helping ourselves and learning and gaining the wisdom from it, and then growing and moving forward. Cheers to healing, guys. Oh dear, I don't know how to end this. Usually there's a record button or something. Did I just close it?